Campbell's Soups bring you Amos and Andy with Grover Whalen, president of the 1939 New York World's Fair, in person in a special half-hour broadcast direct from the fairgrounds. How do you do, everybody? Good news travels fast. Already I hear from grocers and housewives that the new, better-than-ever Campbell's pork and beans are a main topic of table talk. Over the fences and over the phones, one woman tells another, and now families all over the country are being treated to old-fashioned pork and bean suppers with more downright good eating in them than ever before. You and your family may have always liked Campbell's pork and beans, but when you serve and taste them now, you'll learn all over again what a delight this old-time dish can be. The moment you open a can of them, you will see that they have a richer nut-brown color. You will see, too, a generous slice of bacon pork. It's meaty and lean, the kind used in preparing fine breakfast bacon. And when the gleaming, steaming platefuls are served, the whole family will know at once that there is tip-top bean eating just ahead. They will taste a deeper, fuller flavor that puts new pleasure in every forkful. And I'm sure they will agree with me that these are the best pork and beans ever. Don't wait any longer to enjoy these better-than-ever Campbell's pork and beans. Plan to have them as a welcome treat tomorrow. Immediately following tonight's broadcast, Amos and Andy would like to say a few words to their friends. In preparing for the Harlem World's Fair, Andy decided to write a personal letter to Grover Whalen, the president of the New York World's Fair, requesting that the two get together. Much to Andy's surprise, he received a very courteous reply from Mr. Whalen, inviting him to visit the New York World's Fair. As the scheduled hour of the meeting approaches, Andy's becoming very nervous and found it necessary to purchase a small bottle of smelling salts, which he is carrying in his pocket. As the scene opens now, we find Amos and Andy in the fresh air taxicab, arriving at one of the 9 entrances of the New York World's Fair. Both boys are dressed in their Sunday best for the occasion. Here they are.
Well, here's the gate right up here now, Andy. And there's a policeman standing there. He look like the Northwest Mounted, don't he?
Yeah, wait a minute. Maybe we better not go in there. I can see Mr. Whale some other time.
Well, wait a minute now. You can't turn around now. Here we is almost there.
Oh, me. Let me get out my smelling salts and take one more whiff.
Listen, I'm going to stop and ask this policeman. Wait a minute.
My mouth's so dry I can't say nothing. You do the talking.
Yeah.
And what can I do for you?
Mister, we've got an appointment to see Mr. Grover Whalen. And here's a letter that Mr. Whalen writ. Give me the letter, Andy.
Yeah, wait. Here it is.
Here it is, mister. It's a letter to Andrew H. Brown. And this is Andy right here, and my name is Amos Jones.
Oh, yes. Mr. Whalen is expecting you, I think. And at the present time, you'll find him on the bridge that joins the Perisphere and the Trilon.
Well, where is the Paralon and the Tri-thing at?
That's the large ball in the tall tower. Drive right in.
Yeah, sir, yeah. Thank you very much, mister. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I got you in, son. I told you that I'd get you in all right.
Now, the next thing we got to do is go over here. Look at there, Andy. Look at that ball there. That's the biggest ball I ever seen.
Yeah, boy, that's a whopper. And look at that monument going up in the air. Look at that.
Yeah. You know, I read in the paper that thing going up It's taller than the Washington Monument.
Yeah. Look at the buildings, will you? Boy, this is something. Look here, the streets is paved. Trees is growing in here. Look at that.
And look at the colors. All the streets is different colors here. One go up that way is yellow. That one starts out and look at that. Starts out pink and it gets red up at the end.
Yeah, that's right. Look at that.
There's the blue street.
All
This
colors.
is the prettiest thing I ever seen in my life, Andy.
Yeah, I didn't know it was this big. They really got a fair here, ain't they?
It sure is.
Look at that building there.
What to say there?
Go ahead. Don't look around there. You look, watch where you're going.
I'm driving over there.
Say there, Hall of PHAR Pharmacy. They ought to be able to fill a subscription in there.
Look at that ball, Andy. That must be 20 or 30 stories high. Sitting in a pool of water, too. Look at there.
Yeah. Well, get over there so we can get up on that bridge that joins the ping pong and the atmosphere together.
Yeah, I better stop the cab right here, ain't I?
Yeah, pull up there and let's ask that policeman.
Yeah, look out now. I'll leave it here.
Well, let's get out and I'll take a whiff of this smelling salts, too. I get nervouser and nervouser.
Excuse me, mister, but we got an appointment with Mr. Whalen and somebody say up on that bridge up there. How we get up there, please?
Step right inside and the escalator will take you up.
Ask her who?
Gentleman said just step on the inside. Thank you, mister. Come on, Andy.
Yeah.
Look at here. Look. There's the steps that carry you up without you walking. Look at the steps going up in there.
Yeah, let me get on. Look at there. We're going up in the air, will you? Look at. Hold on, Amos. Hold on. Where's my smelling
Take
salts?
it easy. Let me go. It ain't gonna hurt you. Look here. We going up in the top of that ball on these steps, Andy.
Oh, me. Why did I ever start this thing? Wait a minute. This smelling salts is getting weak as a kitten. Done lost all its flavor. I ought to brung some acrobatic spirits ammonia with me.
Boy, these steps really take you up in the air, don't they?
Yeah, now I gotta meet Mr. Whale and argue with him.
Yeah.
I don't see why I started that Harlem Fair in the first place.
Wait a minute now. Wait a minute. Here, we're getting to the top now. Here, the top of the steps now. Get ready to get off this thing.
Yeah. Look out the way now.
Well, I be doggone. Look how easy it is to get off the thing. You can't hurt yourself.
No, that was easy. Oh, boy. Look. We is in the middle of the ball. Look at that.
That's the biggest thing I ever seen in my life. Look down there, Andy. Look, there's building in the bottom of this thing.
There sure is.
Oh, this is what they're going to call the city of tomorrow. That's what this is.
Oh, yeah.
Look at the size of the thing. Yeah, this ball must be 25 or 30 stories high.
Yeah, it's a big one. Ask the man how we see Mr. Whalebone, and I'll take a whiff of this smelling salts.
Excuse me, mister, but you say that Mr. Whalen, somebody told us, was up here on the bridge. How you get out there?
You go right through that door there, and you'll find Mr. Whalen right up there alone.
Yeah, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Come on in.
I wish I had some headache pills.
Stop worrying now. Come
Well,
on.
I wish I didn't make this date.
Well, oh, there he is, Andy. There he is out there on the bridge. Look at him.
Oh, boy. We is up in the air here, ain't we?
Yeah, there he is now, Andy. There's Mr. Whalen there looking over the fair. See him standing there by himself?
Must we go home?
No, you've been talking about meeting him, and he asked you over here, so you might as well walk up to him.
Wait a minute now. Don't rush me. Let's look around a second before we go over there. Maybe I'll feel better.
You were shaking like a leaf. Look at that, Andy. Look at all those buildings. You know, I didn't dream it was going to be like this. And look at the color.
Yeah, I wish he'd give me this one for the Harlem Fair and start another one for himself.
I can't believe what I'm looking at, you know it? Here we is, Andy, standing on top of the bridge that joins the ball and the tower, looking all over the New York World's Fair. And what a sight.
Yeah, boy, it's something all right.
Look over there.
Yeah, I knowed it was going to be big, but I didn't know it was going to be gigantic.
Well, let's get over there with Mr. Whalen now. Come on.
Oh, me. Well, here goes nothing.
Well, come on now.
You speak to him. I was nervous. I having a nervous breakdown.
Excuse me, is this Mr. Grover Whalen?
Yes, my name is Whalen.
My name is Amos Jones, and this is Andy Brown, the fella that wrote you the letter.
Oh, yes. How do you do?
Yes, sir.
Nice to know you both.
Yes, sir.
And I'm glad to have you here.
Yes, you see, Mr. Whale, I is putting on the Harlem Fair. It'll be a little bigger than this, but before I start building, I thought I'd like to talk to you.
Oh, yes. You wrote to me about the Harlem Fair.
Yes, sir.
Well, I'll be very happy to cooperate with you. Give you any assistance that I can.
Yes, sir.
What do you think of the New York World's Fair up to now?
He talking to you, Andy.
Yeah, well, it looked like the headquarters for Flash Gordon.
Well, the buildings are modern. We've tried to carry out the same idea throughout the fair.
Yeah, Mr. Whalen, I wonder if you'd be kind enough to kind of explain a few things to us about the fair. And I think Andy would like to know what the things cost.
Yeah, that's right. I got my finance committee working on some money with some weak-minded bankers.
Well, now, let me see. From where we're standing, we have a pretty good view of the entire fair.
Yes, sir.
As we look straight ahead here, we look down this beautiful avenue, which we have named the Constitutional Mall.
A mall.
Sound like a gangster's gal.
The Constitutional Mall is the central esplanade leading from the theme center to the Lagoon of Nations.
Yes, sir.
Now you boys have asked me the cost of these things.
Yes, sir.
I'll try to give them to you as I go along, as long as you are interested in the building of a fair.
Yes, sir, that's right.
The cascades and the pools and the fountains, the 65-foot statue of George Washington with landscaping and murals, including the buildings that line the Constitution Mall, together with underground utilities, represent an expenditure of $60 million.
Excuse me. I just want to take a whiff of this stuff here.
That statue of George Washington, that certainly is a big one, all right. Is that the only statue in the fairground?
Yes, that is the only statue of an individual. The reason for that is because on our opening date, April 30th, we are celebrating in America the 150th anniversary of George Washington, our first president of the United States, who was inaugurated in the city of New York under the federal Constitution.
Yes, sir, that sure is nice. Now, way down there, I see a pool there that looks like a cement pool or something with fountains all over it.
Yeah, that's a big pool you got down there, too. What's the size of that thing there where that water is shooting all up in the air?
Yeah, so tell us about that big pool down there, Miss Wheeler.
If you boys have time later on, I will take you down there so that you can appreciate the size of the Lagoon of Nations, or as you call it, that pool of water.
Yes, sir. Well, how big is the thing?
The fountains themselves throw the water 250 feet in the air. At certain intervals, a flame of fire and in various colors is projected 150 feet in the air. When the 1,000 fountains in the lagoon are turned off at night, 20 tons of water fall at one time.
Sure enough.
The lagoon itself is enormous. It is so large, boys, that you could actually put all of Radio City in this one lagoon.
Yeah, so that's big, all right.
Yeah, well, I built one that big for a mustard bath for the feet of the people. And then I got one there you could put Radio City in sideways, and the water looks like the Empire State Building.
At the extreme end of the Constitution Mall, this beautiful building you see is the federal government building.
Oh, yeah, so that sure is a pretty building, all right.
Yeah.
Our own United States government building is flanked on both sides by the buildings of 60 foreign nations, the League of Nations and the Pan American Union. These governments represent 90% of the entire population of the world.
Oh, excuse me, Mr. Whale. I'm going to have to take a whiff of this stuff.
Yeah, tell me this, which of these nation buildings?
That building on the left of the lagoon, you will notice, is flying the French flag.
Oh, yeah.
Just beyond that, and on the other corner of the lagoon, stands Great Britain and her dominions.
Yeah, yes.
Italy has that large cascading tower with the waterfalls.
Yeah.
On the right, you can plainly see the Belgium Tower. And the building with the tall statue is the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Then there is Czechoslovakia, and to the right of that is the building erected here by Japan.
Yeah.
And of course, you can see the various flags flying on the other building,
Yeah.
representing 60 nations of the world and expenditure by them of $30 million of their own money.
Excuse me, I'll just take a short whiff.
Tell me this, what is that over there on the right, all those buildings over that way there? What is them?
That is the Court of States. They represent the states of the Union.
There sure is a mess of them there, ain't it?
Sure is.
Let's turn around and look over this side once, boys.
Yeah, sir.
I might tell you something that would be of value to you at your Harlem Fair.
Yeah, sir.
I don't know whether you'd be selected the site yet or not.
Oh, yes. Well, I'm going to tear down everything I can get my hands on and start from there.
Tell me this, how big is this fair, Miss Whalen?
The fair is 3.5 miles long, and in the center it is 1.5 miles wide.
Oh. This stuff that I'm sniffing is getting weaker and weaker.
Tell me this, how about if we go along here when the fair's running, how about getting the people in here and getting them out of here?
That's a very interesting question.
Yeah.
I might tell you that we have 9 entrances to the New York World's Fair. We have parking space for 42,000 automobiles.
Yeah.
Subway and trains bring you direct to the fair. For 5 cents, you may catch the rapid transit line from any part of New York City and come directly to the gates of the fair.
Yeah.
In other words, boys, we have facilities to take care of 160,000 people an hour, exclusive of the automobile traffic.
Oh, me. Oh, my committee going to faint when I get back with them.
Yeah.
I'll take them some smelling salts, too.
Tell me this, Miss Whalen, what you gonna charge to get in here?
Admission to the fair is 75 cents. Children under 14 years of age, 25 cents. And on special days, 10 cents for children.
Yeah, well, I don't know what I'm going to soak the people. Amos, make a memorandum.
Well, is you got a pencil?
Wait a minute. Yeah, here. Here's a red one.
A red one?
Yeah, you see, Mr. Whale, the Harlem Fair started off in the red, and we ain't swum out in the black yet.
Yeah, well, what you want me to write down, Andy?
Excuse me, Mr. Whale. Amos, remind me to call Puddin' Face at 8 o'clock.
Oh, Andy, well, wait a minute. Go ahead, Mr. Whale.
That big body of water down there on the right, Mr. Whale, that don't happen to be one of the Great Lakes, do it?
No, that happens to be a large artificial lake which is surrounded by one of the most interesting amusement areas we could possibly develop.
Oh, you gonna have anything down there like the shoot-the-shoots?
Well, the entire fair represents the world of tomorrow. The amusement area, for instance, will have a bobsled ride which travels at a speed of 80 miles an hour. That entire area you see surrounding the lake represents every modern form of amusement we could think of.
Amos, remind me to tell that man that's got that merry-go-round that I want something bigger.
Let's look over this in this direction.
Yes.
Yeah.
This section here to the south is known as the transportation area.
Yeah.
There you see aviation, shipping, railroads, and motor cars representing all forms of transportation.
Yeah.
I can assure you, boys, that a visitor can spend many interesting hours in any one of these buildings, which, of course, are all free to the public.
Yeah, tell me this, what is that tower up there?
That is a part of the RCA exhibit, and the tower you see standing is the television broadcasting.
Yeah, well, tell me this, is you going to have any pop crackers at night, like fireworks?
In the Lagoon of Nations, each evening, there will be an elaborate display of fireworks, which is later followed by another display of fireworks in the lake adjoining the amusement section.
Yeah, well, I got to take another whiff of this stuff.
Yeah, now what is all these buildings, these hundreds of buildings all over here?
These buildings represent American industry, including practically every large industry in the world.
Yeah, I said, well, Mr. Whalen, we don't want to take up too much of your time. It sure is nice of you to explain this.
Yeah, I think I'll go back to Harlem and get my committee together and take out all the plans I got and tear them up.
I will say this, that without the splendid cooperation I have received from my entire staff and the Executive and Finance Committee of the World's Fair, the thing you see now would have been impossible. And for that cooperation, believe me, boys, I am very grateful.
Tell me this, Mr. Whalen, how much money did the whole New York Fair cost?
$155 million.
I beg to apologize. What's that last remark?
$155 million.
You don't want to take a whiff of this stuff, do you, Mr. Whalen?
It was very nice to have you over.
Yeah, then we want to thank you, too, for letting us come over here, Mr. Whalen.
Yes, sir, and when I get my fair built, why, I'll explain it to you.
Thanks for coming, and good luck to you with the Harlem World's Fair.
Well, thank you, Mr. Whalen, and goodbye.
Yeah, goodbye, Mr. Wilby.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, Amos and Andy would like to say a few words to their listeners.
Ladies and gentlemen, tonight's broadcast, direct from the World's Fairgrounds in New York City, was done to give you a brief idea of the fair itself. First, let us explain and express our deep appreciation to Mr. Grover Whalen for his kindness in appearing on tonight's program. My partner Andy and myself have spent many days going through the New York World's Fair. And in fairness to ourselves and to the New York World's Fair, we must tell you that it was impossible to give you a description of the magnitude of this great international exposition in the time allotted us tonight. Sometimes as we sort of go along, why, you size up a situation by one remark that a person may make. We felt something, and as we pass it on to you, why, you may feel it too. In asking the officials many questions about the New York World's Fair, they told us that the fair itself cost $155 million, but a child may get a glass of milk for 5 cents.
Something like that kind of shows you that they ain't overlooked nothing. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.
Good night, folks.
In a moment, we bring you Edwin C. Hill, celebrated news commentator in the human side of the news, cut somewhat short tonight by our special World's Fair broadcast. You know, for years, Campbell's pork and beans have been the best liked pork and beans in the country. So, naturally, it wasn't easy to improve them. And Campbell's chefs succeeded in doing so only after months of patient experimenting. Today, these pork and beans, made by the makers of those fine Campbell soups, are new and better than ever before. The beans are the best money can buy, slowly and skillfully cooked to mellow perfection. The tomato sauce is racy and tempting. But now the beans have a deeper nut brown color and a richer, fuller flavor. In each can, you'll find a generous slice of lean bacon pork. And after you've eaten a portion, I promise you satisfaction that's keener than you've ever known before. When you buy pork and beans, remember this. You can't buy beans at any price that are any better than Campbell's. Yet Campbell's cost you very little more than ordinary kinds. And I believe if you try Campbell's just once, you'll make it a rule always to say, Campbell's pork and beans. We take you now to Edwin C. Hill.